In the October 2024 General Conference, Dallin H introduced a new concept. He espoused the idea that while some commandments are permanent, others are temporary. He then provided a few examples of each category, and not returning to that particular topic. He finished his talk by saying that we must forego contention, be peacemakers, and avoid what is harsh and hateful. But we are simply left to ponder the following. Which commandments are temporary and which are permanent?
The Lord's commandments are of two types: permanent, like the doctrine of Christ, and temporary. Temporary commandments are those necessary for the needs of the Lord's church or the faithful in temporary circumstances, but to be set aside when the need has passed. An example of temporary commandments are the Lord's directions to the early leadership of the church to move the saints from New York to Ohio, to Missouri, to Illinois, and finally to lead the pioneer exodus to the Intermountain West. Though only temporary, when still in force, these commandments were given to be obeyed.
Which commandments are temporary and which are permanent? Oak's teachings on temporary and permanent commandments present a new effort to try to categorize LDS teachings in a way that justifies both past doctrinal reversals and reinforces obedience to the current leadership. A closer examination of LDS history reveals that many so-called permanent commandments have, in fact, undergone significant changes, sometimes disappearing from modern practice. These include but are not limited to the following: the nature of God, access to the priesthood, tithing requirements, the proclamation to the family, the name of the church, blood atonement, the Adam-God doctrine, the word of wisdom, and polygamy. See, in contrast to what Oakes just said, the church has defined all commandments as permanent. Apostle L. Tom Perry emphasized that fact just 11 years earlier, while Oakes was a junior apostle. Perry taught that even though the world may change, God and his commandments don't.
God reveals to his prophets that there are moral absolutes. Sin will always be sin. Disobedience to the Lord's commandments will always deprive us of his blessings. The world changes constantly and dramatically, but God, his commandments, and promised blessings do not change. They're immutable, unchanging.
So who are we supposed to believe here? Dallin H or L. Tom Perry? The truth of the matter is that LDS doctrine has never been as unchanging as LDS church leaders claim. What is truly permanent is not any specific commandment, but rather unquestioning obedience to church authority. Oakes is simply trying to manipulate the narrative around past teachings while maintaining church control and avoiding accountability for the harm caused by doctrines that were once deemed as eternal.